So you're thinking about moving to Salem, Oregon, but you haven't decided which area of town is right for you? Well, you're in the right spot, because in today's video, we're going to be talking about West Salem, and we'll be looking at a few houses in different price ranges. So let's get right to it. Hi, and welcome to the channel. My name is Ryan Welty, and I'm a real estate agent with Windermere Real Estate here in Salem, Oregon. If you're new to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living here in Salem, Oregon, make sure you subscribe below so you stay up to date on all my new content. Again, my name is Ryan, and I love working with people just like you who are thinking of moving to the Willamette Valley. So whether you're thinking of moving in 10 days or 100 days, feel free to give me a call, text, or email. I'd be happy to talk with you, see what your situation is, and help you make a smooth move here to the Willamette Valley. So as I mentioned earlier, today we are talking about West Salem. And West Salem is one of the most distinct areas of Salem because it is separated from the rest of Salem by the Willamette River. Most of Salem is in Marion County on the east side of the river, and West Salem here is obviously on the west side of the Willamette River. And it is actually in a different county too. It is in Polk County. So I'm over here on the Union Street Railroad Bridge, which is an old railroad bridge that was converted into a pedestrian path. And it connects downtown Salem over here, that's Riverfront Park, to Wallace Marine Park, which is on the West Salem side over here. It's definitely a pretty popular bridge and gets a lot of traffic. West Salem is so separated from the rest of Salem that it kind of feels like its own little city. It has a few shops, grocery stores, convenience stores, everything you need. It doesn't really have any clothing stores or many activities to do. There are quite a few parks and there's a few golf courses, but there's no movie theaters or bowling alleys or things of that nature in West Salem. Some locals in the area have very strong opinions about West Salem and whether or not they would live there, and that is usually due to access. You can only cross the Willamette River to get into West Salem by the Marion Street Bridge or the Center Street Bridge to get back into downtown Salem and the rest of Salem. So there is very limited access. There are a few ferries, but those are quite a few miles out of town, both north and south. The worst traffic in Salem is associated with these bridges, and that is because it's a pinch point and you can't really avoid it. There's some other spots in Salem that get traffic, but you can avoid them because there's multiple ways around them. But these bridges, these are the only ways in and out, at least conveniently. Another thing to consider about West Salem is that most of the residential areas are actually on a hill. Here at the river level, we're between 115 and 150 feet of elevation above sea level, but the residential areas can get a few hundred feet above that because they are in the Eola Hills. Most of the time, this is not going to be an issue, but every once in a while in the winter, we do get snow or ice. We have very mild winters here, so that snow and ice doesn't happen very often. But it does happen, and it can be hard to get to some of the areas in the residential West Salem area because some of the roads are fairly steep and windy, of course, depending on where you want to live if it's not right on one of the main roads. In my opinion, I really like West Salem, and I would definitely consider moving over there if I found the right house the next time I'm looking to move. The traffic doesn't bother me that much. If you're from a bigger city that's used to congested areas, Salem traffic, no matter where you're at, isn't that bad. The ice and the snow does happen every once in a while, and you can drive in it, but some Oregonians and definitely Californians are notoriously bad at driving in icy weather because it doesn't happen here that often. West Salem has lots of good restaurants, and I wanted to feature a few here for you just in case you want to check them out. Wallery's Pizza is the iconic West Salem pizza spot. They have a very unique atmosphere inside, and they've been around for a long time. I've only been there a few times, but that's not because the food's not great. It's because my wife's allergic to dairy, so when we go out, we go to places where there's a few more options for her to eat. Another local favorite is Annette's. It's a little cafe. They have a pretty expansive menu. I also haven't gone to this one a ton, just because there's so many restaurants here in Salem. They're open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I've only been there for breakfast and lunch, but every time I've gone there, I've enjoyed the food they've served. A spot I do go quite often is Ica. I'm not actually sure if I'm pronouncing it right. It starts with an X, but I'm pretty sure it's silent. Ica is a modern Cuban Mexican restaurant here in West Salem. They don't have a very expansive menu, but everything on it is good. I've eaten their tacos, their chimichangas. They have a really good salsa verde and a habanero salsa that comes with their chips and salsa. Ika is also a brewery, so it has lots of options for different beers if that's something that you're interested in. And it just happens to be that the next restaurant is also a local brewery, and that is Gilgamesh. They have 3 locations. The one in West Salem is called The Woods, and they're going to serve your classic pub food, and it is definitely a local hotspot. Every once in a while they have live music. Their beers are also brewed here locally and are worth a try. And the last restaurant I want to feature is Roger That Barbecue. This is a really good hole-in-the-wall barbecue spot here in West Salem. They only cook so much food and they pretty much close when it's gone. They have a very simple menu, but if you get there later in the afternoon, you might not have as much choice or selection because the popular items get snatched up quick. And like I said, they close once they're out of everything. I do have one more place to feature, but it is not a restaurant. It is actually a vineyard. West Salem is on the Eola Hills, as I mentioned before, and it is actually a good place in the Willamette Valley for vineyards. And so there's one right at the edge of West Salem called Red Hawk Vineyards. I've gone there and shared a glass of wine with my wife, and it is a nice place to go. It's really close and convenient. They close at 5 o'clock, so it can be hard to get there during the week, but it is a very peaceful setting. Again, close, easy to get to, and they have some nice mountain views if it's a clear enough day. That wraps up what I wanted to talk to you guys about West Salem. So let's go jump into a few houses in the area. Okay, here we are at our first house in West Salem, and we are in Salem Town, which is a 55 and plus active retirement community. It is in an HOA, and they definitely have an HOA fee, but it is a cute little community. This house right behind me is one for sale. It is actually at the end of the street. This community has quite a few community buildings and things associated with them, and they have a 9-hole golf course, which I think hole number 3 is in that green space right here behind me. So this house is kind of cool. It's the last one on the street. It does back up to a major road, but there's a concrete sound barrier, but you have a nice view of the golf course. And it's also up on the top of the hill in the HOA property. So down below is the rest of the houses, and you have a nice view, at least if you're out here on the street. There's not much of a view from inside of the house, but the community itself, if you're out walking, which a lot of these retirement communities have a lot of people that like walking the roads. So at least while you're out walking, you're going to have a nice view. Salem Town is big enough that there are usually a few active listings. So you have a few choices if this is the community you want to be in, and they come up pretty often. This particular house is listed at $425,000. It is a 2-bed, 2-bath. It is at 1,477 square feet, which puts the price per square foot at $287 per square foot. Like I mentioned earlier, this association does have a fee of $1,215 per year. So not terrible as far as HOAs go, and they definitely give you a lot. The 9-hole golf course that I mentioned earlier is not free. Members here get a discounted yearly rate, but if you're not a member, you can apply for a yearly golf pass. But this house behind me is actually vacant, so we can go take a peek inside and see what it looks like. Okay, we're not going to spend too much time here, but I will show a few rooms of the house. I figured I'd start you out here because you couldn't really see the front door from the street. This house is very open and echoey because there's no furniture in here, so sorry if the sound quality is bad. But this front room is pretty nice. It has a sunroom back behind me going off of the main room here. The kitchen is not super updated, but the cabinets look nice. It doesn't have that granite or quartz countertop, but it is still definitely a usable space, and it looks nice how they have it. They do have this window into the sunroom, which is better than no window at all, but it's not quite as nice as looking directly outside. It is only a 2-bed, 2-bath house, but it has a bonus room. This room right here, they are saying is an office. There's no closet, that's why it's only a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. This is the 2nd bedroom, and it has this wall of windows and actually skylights up above on the ceiling. But that's kind of a cool feature. You don't see that very often, that many windows in the secondary bedroom. This is the bathroom in the master bedroom, and it has the 2 sinks. It does have the older style tub with the sliding doors. A lot of people are taking those out and putting curtains in. I actually kind of like the glass ones because you can clean the glass versus the plastic curtains you have to replace yourself. But other than that, it's just a pretty nice master bedroom here. One of the things to consider about this house though is it backs up to Wallace Road, so you have this concrete barrier. It's a sound barrier, so it's not quite as loud, but it does make this backyard very private. The side yard is more open, has some community green space that goes to the golf course. But that's a wrap up of this house. Let's get to the next one. Okay, here we are at the next house. There's some kids playing basketball, so we're just gonna walk down the street so not to disturb them. It's that house right behind me. Is listed at $575,000. It is a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bathroom house. It has 2,238 square feet. It is $256 per square foot. Again, it is a nice looking house. It is updated 2 stories. The main stairwell going up to the 2nd floor has a blue accent in it, which is kind of cool. Probably not everybody's style, but I think it looks nice. It is well updated throughout with vaulted living rooms. It has a pantry. The kitchen looks really nice with those quartz countertops and those mostly newer appliances. You're not just interested in that home, you're also interested in the neighborhood, so that's why I'm walking around a little bit. We are here in West Salem, kind of on the southern side of West Salem. A lot of these neighborhoods have pretty windy roads, but they are more established, older neighborhoods. The house we started out at was built in 1996. Not new, but not super old either. But it is a quieter neighborhood, not very close to the main roads. Had to go through quite a few turns to get here, so you don't have a bunch of traffic. There are no HOAs here, so you're gonna see probably more cars parked on the street than you would in an HOA neighborhood. But we're still in a neighborhood with more expensive houses in it, so most of the yards are upkept very well, and you have a nice looking neighborhood. I think that is enough for this house. Let's get to the next one. Okay, here we are at the last house of the day. It is here on a hill. It's actually a pretty steep hill. It is the last house on this side of the road, and behind it is West Salem High School. So this home is brand new construction, and it is the most expensive house that we are going to tour today, and it is listed right at $700,000. It is a 5-bedroom, 3-bath house, and of course it is also the biggest house we are looking at today, and it is 2,800 square feet. Which brings the price per square foot to $250 per square foot. Now, as you'd expect with brand new construction, it is a very modern, most of the interior is gray, the kitchen has white cabinets with very nice countertops. The primary bedroom has a master bathroom with a soaking tub, but it really is just a huge house, again, brand new construction. They always have a few issues with them, but you can work through those and they have a nice warranty on them. This house is, like I said before, on a hill. It is at the top of the hill. There's a little bit more traffic on this road than there was the last listing we were at. So you're gonna get a little bit more road noise, especially from those trucks as they're going up this hill. A pretty good view, not of too much, but there's a view of the hillside, which is all just houses over there too. So you don't have views of the mountains. I'm not sure if you get a view from the top story of this house, but you might. Like I said before, it does border West Salem High School, which is one of the better school systems in Salem. The high school and the middle school and elementary school in the area are pretty highly rated. I'll put a link to greatschools.com down below, and you can do some research on West Salem and the other schools in the area through that site. I find it's a pretty good resource. I went to Cascade High School, which is out south of Salem, so I haven't gone to West Salem. I have spoken to students from there and parents of students, and I've heard it's fairly good. So you should probably do your own research if you're moving to the area with some kids. I'm gonna wrap up this video here. I think that was a pretty good summary of West Salem and what it has to offer. I wanna thank you for watching the video, and if you have any questions or something you want me to talk about in the future, feel free to drop those in the comments below. Or you can always give me a call, text, or an email. I'd be happy to talk to you about moving to Salem, Oregon.